Welcome to December 16th, 2025. Pleasanton, filming live from Pleasanton, California. We don't use film. We haven't used film in a long time, but it just became the term. I've got the heater off, so I'm keeping warm. That's loud. Hold on. Making best use of my time here. Sarcasm, best chasm. I have the heater actually off right now because it'll turn on, it'll be loud, and you don't want all that. We don't need all that. I need it. Yeah, I've noticed it way more than in the past. But when you lose a lot of body fat, you get cold fast. You being the royal you, me. I get cold fast. It's been crazy. I have tried to keep the thing as warm. I learned that it only goes up to 82, and that was the first thing I learned. The second thing I learned is that if it senses nobody in the room, it will go down to 76, which I wasn't sure what was going on. I looked it up, ChatGPT, and I guess in hotels they have these new ones. They override your own settings if they sense no movement, and they go down to the factory or the hotel's preferred settings, which is like 76. Even that, I guess, is a little bit generous, but I don't want 76. But it just turns into the cooler. So if I sit on my desk for a little while, it switches to cool. And next thing I know, it's cooling the place. Like, why? Then I have to go back over here. Like, all right, now it's going to heat the place up because it senses I'm in the room. Now, and for sleep, it actually does a pretty good job. I think, I don't know if I mentioned it's motion sensor. I doubt it would be heat. But it will turn on. However, it's kind of loud, and I last night I thought, I thought it's too loud. It's like kind of waking me up and hurting my sleep. I don't get enough sleep as it is. So I turned it to low, and even then I thought, you know what? I'm under the covers, even though they're not the thickest covers in the world. I turned it to off, and in the morning I turned it on. But this has been a long spent a long time talking about the heating of the hotel room, but now you know if you're wondering what's going on with the heating, so they can know. But I guess you could request. I mean, I don't know if they have the ability here, but you could probably get out of the desk and say, hey, for room, for my room, can you please not override my setting because I want it hot. I'll keep it 82 the entire time, but then a little earlier I did get a little too warm. Words I rarely ever say. So yeah, the body fat is making me different than everybody else, I guess. I don't know how many people have to deal with like 80 being not warm enough in a hotel room. Yesterday, speaking of lowering my body temperature, was a 13.2 mile walk. So half marathon, which I didn't run it. I walked it, but it was cool. That was pretty much the limit. I think my legs and knees were giving out at the end, and no noise. I don't know why I wrote that down. I think it was the wrong column. No ice. It's like looks like no ice and there's noise. Always say to myself, write legible notes because later on you're gonna forget what you wrote. But my phone, I used the entire phone life. I didn't bring a spare battery because I didn't think I need it. But I just got to remember the iPhone is now over 2 years old, and the battery does not last like it used to, especially when you do video and when you upload the video. That just like really puts a strain on the battery life. So yeah, it just kept getting weaker and weaker, and I didn't want to let it stop me. I want to say I still want to like have some fun and do my videos. And I like to upload them then and there because otherwise later I forget like, oh, what video's been uploaded, what hasn't. So if I do them all, then I just know, all right, everything's already been done. And so that's the other thing, I'm done with it. But also I don't have to like go through and look, okay, this one, that one, whatever. Because I don't like to post the same video twice if I can help it. That seems silly. Um, Although I do use up my data. I have unlimited data, but when you get unlimited data through these plans, you get like 10 gig of fast unlimited data, and then you go to slow unless you buy a really special plan. But when I'm traveling, I sometimes will burn through my fast data. And then it says, well, for the rest of your month, unless you want to switch to a better plan. Yeah, I guess they do have better plans because they always tell me about that. Okay. But it was a fun day. I mean, it was mostly the evening. It was like 3 to 10. Late at well, after 3, it's going to be evening kind of anyway. It's already starting to be sunset. But I did get to go down paths I used to go down and explore and revisit. I haven't been here in like months, like 2 months. But I did get to like. Is there anything particularly memorable? It was fun seeing the train. I got a few videos from the train because it was just kind of cool that the train. It's yeah, the videos explained, but it's just nostalgic. It's like wow, like yeah, as a kid, you had to wait at the tracks, in your parents' car with the train, and then all these years later, still waiting at the tracks for the train to go by. Um, and they're so long too. I think they do fewer trains, but they make them longer. So that's always fun to see. And then I saw the old theater memories. I mean, even if the theater weren't being torn down, um, and they haven't started yet, but if it weren't, I'd probably still not be making any more memories there. And it's like I've moved, so I'm not even auditioning. But a lot of the theaters stopped using, well, the main theater, Pleasanton Playhouse, which is not even Pleasanton Playhouse anymore. But they stopped using that theater too. So like nobody used the last show I did with that theater was 2004 for me, and that was Carousel. So I think they did, more years. It was probably 2008 or 9 when they switched to the Bankhead when that was done. Um, and for me, it was like, well, now I got to go to Livermore. So I only did 2 shows at the Bankhead as far as the Pleasant Playhouse. They might have already changed their name. They've changed it twice since then. But it was fun to see. So the theater's still there. Looks like it's probably still being used, but it's going to be replaced at some point. And I mean, sadly, the high school's not going to have a theater for a while when they're replacing it, unless they're building a new one somewhere else. And then they'll tear this one down when that theater is ready. But my guess is they're going to build a theater in the same place. That's just taken forever to get things done. The only thing they decided on, well, we decided we want to do that. We haven't actually done anything about it. Progress is slow. Different video, but I think in America we have certain things, the spotted owl, whatever, environmental studies, for better or for worse. There's pros and cons to everything, but we also really respect the engineering requirements and what we do. We don't have many buildings falling down these days because unless it's like, even in Florida, it was just years of neglect and atrophy or wear and tear from the elements, the ocean. But for the most part, our buildings are pretty solid. I mean, earthquake proof even these days. But and part of that is like following code and cement. Cement takes a long time to dry or to a certain level, and then test it at that level, and then test it again. So those things you can't rush those things, and we don't that I know of. So we take our time with cement and we make sure it's like solid, and that works. It's like we've seen we build all the time, and I haven't seen like our bridges starting crumbling, like a 3-month-old bridge crumbling down. In other countries, not to name names, but they cut corners, they take bribes, they do stuff, and you see it all the time if you really watch the news for that kind of thing. That's not buried or censored. Those things fall apart. I mean, you when you rush cement, there's disastrous consequences. Anyway, so yeah, it was all about that was all about the theater, which is up near the top. Long video, but I did go downtown Pleasanton, and I got to see the shops. What's changed? A lot of turnover. Places closed, new things open. Um, yes, there's some long term one. It was like one hair salon. It's like 27 years. Like 27. I've never noticed it before in my life. I'm not saying they're lying, but like there's some I just didn't even notice they're there because I never went there. Like a hair salon like that. I don't think I went to any hair salon. I went to Supercuts. I actually walked by Supercuts. I was tempted to go inside, but I thought I spent like $35, and I don't need a haircut right now. I don't want to get one this soon. I just got one like I don't know. It seems like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Most people get one every couple, like a month or even weeks, but not me. And then I just kept going and taking photos and doing and exploring, and it got quieter. Of course, it's a weeknight in downtown Pleasanton gets pretty dead, but I noticed a few. maybe one or two new pubs opening, transition going from one restaurant to another. So some closed, new ones opened. There's one that I don't think it was called Scotty's or no, I forgot the name of it. So Scott Adams, who did Dilbert, still does Dilbert, I guess, just not syndicated the same way as before. But he supposedly gave a loan to a young lady that wanted a friend of his that wanted to open a restaurant, and she did open the restaurant. Something with a D, I think. But he also wrote the menu. So the menu, if you went there, it was a very funny menu. I just remember, 4 cheese lasagna, and he wrote something about, yeah, some places use plastic and whatever, but we use real cheese because customers complained and we listened. So real cheese now or something. I don't know, it was really funny. Uh, so I remember it's like, okay, that's cool. I mean, it was nothing really special. It was actually tasty food. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was a little pricey. And then it changed to a different name, so a different owner, and then changed again. So I don't know how many. It's got to be at least 3 or 4 now. But nothing can stay. Nothing stays there. It's a part. Even pairings is gone, and something else is there. So I've noticed a lot of turnover, even though I'm hardly ever here. But I guess you notice it more, maybe, because I take these walks and I explore. Um, yeah, that was actually interesting. So, and then the phone's pretty much dead. But I did do a favorite thing that I used to do is listen to audiobook. So I would say for the last maybe hour, I had an audiobook, and that was actually kind of nice because as a book I haven't been listening to in a while because I don't do it much at night anymore. But it was just it makes it fun. So I want to try to continue the book, even though I think I'm on the very last part. But I have another book that already ready to go. Actually, I'm halfway through. So that was fun. And then when I got back, I just took a warm bath because, like, hands, like, was losing mobility in my hands because it was just so cold. Even with my gloves, I had gloves, but I took them off a lot to film. So my left hand, film, tape, record. Yeah, it's not even tape because it's not on tape. Just record. And that's the only thing we really have because we don't like digitize whatever. I mean, before it was film because that was the material, tape because that was the material, and now we have digital ones and zeros. So we don't say digitize. We could, but it's more just record. Yeah. I guess record we used not really for film, but we used for tape, and now we use for this. So that was last night. Too tired to do a video. I mean, I was up late, but I was just like, I don't have the energy for a video. But this morning I got up at 8:30, went down for breakfast. Very light. I would say a bite of the scrambled, which are probably reconstituted powder, the eggs. And they're okay. They're unique individual flavor that you kind of expect, and maybe because they're familiar, it's like, okay, it's the reconstituted eggs type flavor. But again, only one bite. An apple, which I didn't eat, I brought back here for later, half now, half later type thing. And they didn't have bacon; they had sausage, and I don't really. Actually, when I think about it, I do like sausage, but I didn't take the sausage. Just a smattering of juice. I wanted to try the juice. So I like just the taste of it. So it's basically like 2 gulps of juice, and oh yeah, a boiled egg. So I do think you can't really go wrong with a boiled egg. So I had the boiled egg with some salt, and that was breakfast. So and coffee, of course. I had to get coffee. So twice now I have taken advantage of the free breakfast, which I think is a wise thing to do, even though I don't gorge. I just have a tiny bit, and because I don't really have any food in the hotel room. So I have the fridge and all this stuff, and not even I've hardly used the microwave at all except to warm up some coffee. Um, it is so different here. It's gonna be a long, I already can tell it's been like 9 minutes. It's gonna be like 13-minute video. It is different. It's yeah, last year, or even, well, I mean, was it March? Was it March I was last? Well, I was been here a lot, but March was probably the March 13th was the day I stopped drinking for the year, for a year, not the year. So yeah, previous trips, it's just been so different having, my minis, my beer. Sometimes I buy a bottle of wine, sometimes all of the above. And I'm not saying that those were bad. I'm not looking back thinking, oh, those were bad times. Those were fun. But I'm not saying, oh, I'm worse now because this was a huge mistake. I'm just saying Like I do kind of miss the partying. I miss the fun. I miss the craziness of it all, the absurdity of it all. Um, and after the year, it's like, am I going back to that? Not to the same level, I don't think. I think I want to really make sure. Yeah, because it wasn't so much I was having these massive hangovers, but I think I was just not doing as much, not exercising as much, because it's hard to go on a run after a beer. I mean, let's face it, what you want to do is have another beer. So I think it was hindering exercise or getting things done to the same level. So I think that's why I wanted to take a year off and then and consider lifetime sobriety. I mean, I've considered it. It's actually not even off the table. It's something maybe, I don't know. Or maybe when I go back after a few weeks, whatever, I'll think, you know what? I think I will I think I will cut it off for life. I mean, it's technically a toxin. I mean, it is. Our bodies do not like it. It turns it into a poison at one point. And that's just the way we can handle it. I mean, for the most part, but it does damage. I don't know if like one beer a month does damage, but a beer a day is definitely not good for you, from what I've heard. It's like there's stuff you hear and learn, but it's like, well, then anecdotally, has that been the case? But how do you really test? I don't do tests on my liver. Anyway, different video. Yeah, shows. I don't know. I really am not sure about the future of the shows. I mean, if you're watching this far, I'll give detailed information. I just don't know if it's worth it. At least it's not worth it to this level. I don't think coming out once a month is sustainable at this point. And I enjoy it. It's just sort of getting a little repetitive, I suppose. So I kind of really have to think about it. And to be even more honest, I think the director is kind of going in a different direction. Sort of. It's not to what I've kind of grown up with. It's always been kind of more family friendly, and now it's getting a little crass. Some of the stuff that I don't have control over, some of the jokes, some of the things I just like. I don't know. I want stuff that's like good for a 9-year-old to be. A 9-year-old, just gonna be innuendo, people sleeping with people, whatever. But it's gonna be stuff that a 9-year-old's not gonna understand or care. But if you say a bad word or use a blasphemy or something like that, oh, that just I don't know. That kind of a 9-year-old. It's not what I want to be a part of type thing. So it's not like it's in every show, but it's sort of creative differences. Let's just say that creative differences. So that affects the shows I want to do. I mean, perfectly honest. If you're here at this point, that's why I share the stuff that I wouldn't publicly. And it's not really public at this point. It's personal because someone listening and I'm thinking just like someone randomly scrolled to this point at the end. You've probably been here the whole time, so that's why I share. I mean, what else would I share if I'm getting really personal at this point? Moving back to Pleasanton. If I had a job offer, I probably would. I probably would take it, and I might regret it. I might like take it and then get here, get the moving van. And think, well, now I can't see my friends. It's a longer flight, or it's back to being a flight. I saw my friends maybe like 5 times a year. I mean, on like nice vacations, and that's only every other month. But I don't know. That would be like, well, that sucks. I can't just go over to watch a movie. I can't go over for dinner. Like, there's been like impromptu. Hey, you want to come over? We're having this. Yeah, it's only a 20-minute drive. Now it's just not possible the same way. There's a couple times where actually I did have like, hey, you guys busy this weekend? I want to fly up, and I flew up at the last minute because there was cheap tickets. Although I don't know if the tickets are as cheap these days. So I would miss that instantly. I mean, and then but I would fly if I took a job, moved back here. I would think, okay, a year. Now, if a recruiter's watching, it's probably think, well, I don't like that idea because if it works out, maybe unless it's a 12-month contract. But I'd also think, everything's changed. Like, like I said, the drama, like, not here, but earlier, the drama program's closed. So the church, I don't want to go into Three Crosses ever again. Would I never? I don't know. I mean, I've kind of committed to some words, but uh, I don't know. I can't say 100%. No, definitely not. But I think also, well, if you're going to Castro Valley to church, why don't you go to Redwood? Redwood's welcoming. I know the people. They do have a drama program to some degree, or at least the the stuff in the Easter and Christmas. So yeah, I would think that'd be silly to go to some place that I just don't like what they've done to a place that's like a couple miles away that I do appreciate. So I would go to three. I would go to Redwood. I would go to Redwood Chapel. And yeah, I knew a lot of people there, and they were very welcoming. I mean, it's not like the people at Three Crosses are like, we're bad people. It's just, I think the leadership made bad choices. So there, but that's gone. So like I'm saying, that's gone. My parents, I don't get to go instantly visit for holidays anymore. So if I lived in Pleasanton, I mean, it's not like I can in Seattle. Either way, it's a flight. Other friends have moved away. All the neighbors I had that I hung out with have moved away. Not that I wouldn't go back to the same house. My friends went rent. Well, I couldn't rent the house. It's like 4,000, 40. Well, it's a lot. I shouldn't say the price, but it's a lot. Well, I guess you could look up the price or get an idea. I didn't say the price exactly. So yeah, it would be different. But again, if the job opportunity happened, I would probably take it. I would probably take it, rent a place, maybe have a roommate, or find a place that's looking for a roommate. Maybe, I don't know. It's been 3 years of no roommate, and there's many, many nice things about not having to deal with that stuff. I never had like horrible roommates. Some more challenging than others, but yeah. But I probably would. I mean, if you're here, you deserve the truth. I probably would. I probably would take it, and I'd if I regretted it, I could just go back to Seattle. I still the place is still owned. It would be renter, would be there, but I'd put some little thing in the contract. Yeah, we both have a way to get out. Um, anyway, the last thing I wrote was bored purpose. I thought it said barren. I don't think so. Well, it's different for guys, but yeah, have I been a little more bored? To some degree, I have, because when I think about, all right, what are you going to do today? What do you really want to do? It's like, I don't know, not the Iron Horse Trail. Probably not going to be jogging. I brought all this stuff for jogging, but I think if I'm going on a whole day, especially when it's going to get cold later, I'm going to be carrying that weight. I might as well it's hard to do both. If I could go jogging in the early part and come back, but then so far away from where I'm going to be to get warm weather clothes to go on a walk. But if I bring it with me, that means I got to carry all that extra weight. And if I don't bring it, that means I'm just going to be miserable when I can't jog anymore and I'm walking and now I don't have the proper amount of clothing to stay warm. So I think it's going to be a walk. Upgrade. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get upgraded tomorrow. Two seats left, and they're $600 to even upgrade, which is more than you. It's like last flight was $200 to upgrade, which I didn't got for free. But new tickets, if you wanted to buy first class, are now $1,000. So I doubt anyone's going to buy it. But what's likely going to happen is there are going to be people in front of me in line, higher status, and they're going to get the upgrade. So my chance of getting the first class is nil. And considering I probably wouldn't eat most of the meal, that that's for the best. They do have meals out of Oakland, San Francisco, and San Jose have meals. If you're up at Sacramento, that's a cutoff point, not quite enough miles. They won't have a meal. So just so you know, they might have a snack. You might still get your snack, but it's not going to be a hot meal. All right. So my guess is we went to 15 minutes, and that's fine. I don't care. I don't play by any rules. I play by my own rules. So it's okay to do a long video once in a while. So I can do whatever I want. But I do appreciate anyone that's watching this far that hasn't scrolled, and that's why I try to share the more personal information at the end. It's like I almost want to like, okay, what else can we dig down? It's like, no, that's fine. I mean, I could do yeah, you're here. I do contact one of the girls, women I used to date a few times since I've come down. Like about 3 times now, and each time has been well. Actually, the first year we did hang out the first year, and afterwards I said, "Hey, you want to hang out more often?" And just no response. Like, okay, well there you go. And she just never was a communicative person. She was kind of like it was like I mean, I wouldn't say character flaw or weakness. It was just sort of a trait. It was just never one to be like kind of the opposite of some of the people I dated where they were just always like almost too much for me at the time. I think more I'd be more open now, but at the time it was like yeah, but for her it was like just never never like shared feelings, whatever. So after a couple of times of trying in this past year or two, I just said, all right, that person does not even want to be friends anymore. I mean, just looking to like have a coffee, whatever. And that's fine. I respect that, I guess. I finally said, okay, I will back off. But it could be different reasons. It could be just like, I don't like you. I just don't want to have anything to do with you. Or it could be like, I still do. I have the feelings would come back, whatever. I don't know what it is. Again, never communicated like that. So yeah, there's no chance. Another friend that just friends, someone I never dated but hung out with. She, I think she just doesn't. The last time I said like earlier this year, I had said, "Hey, I want to hang out. I'm going to be down," and I didn't get a response until the morning of the flight down, and I was just like, "Yeah," I didn't even respond. It's like if you're not going to respond until the morning of, like, and it would been like a month before I said, then it's not big on your list, and it's like not that important, and I mean, to be honest, it's rude. I'll be. You're here at this point. You get the truth. It's rude. It was just like disrespectful and rude. So it's like I'm just not going to ever contact you again, and like go me type thing. Now it's just sort of being real here. Like I don't know. I to me that was just I could something that shall not stand unresolved. What do they call it when you take action again? I don't know. It's all silly. Not that big of a deal, but all right. That's totally it now. Thanks for watching. Cheers.